What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update from a beautiful day in Ohio. We went with my wife and my 2-year-old son Julian to a little farm with pumpkins. We were able to get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, and I'm still sweating from the day. It was almost 80 degrees, and tomorrow's going to drop by like 30 degrees. It's going to be in the 30s tomorrow night. It's like the winter's already coming. So it's like our last big day. It's our last hurrah to get stimulus before the election. I have some big information for you guys. I have an interview from President Donald Trump and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin from the Oval Office directly talking to you about stimulus checks. And I have information, a press release from Nancy Pelosi telling you exactly what's going on with her side so you can know the exact information of what they are saying right now about another stimulus check and another second stimulus package. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All I'm going to say is don't forget to like this video down below. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos regarding the second stimulus check and the unemployment extension update. All right, let's jump right into it. Also, before I forget, I'm going to try to start the next What's in the Box contest tomorrow. So if you can guess what's in the box, I'll be giving you clues to what's in the box. You could get money directly from me just for guessing what's in the box. I'll be giving you clues in all the videos going forward. Once we start the contest, I just basically have to come up with the clues. So I'm going to try to start that for you guys tomorrow. It's almost like we're giving out more money than the actual U.S. government. We're providing more stimulus than they are. I know, but let's see what they're saying.
If we can get the right deal, we're going to do that. We've been speaking to the Speaker. I would say we've offered compromises. The Speaker on a number of issues is still dug in. If she wants to compromise, there will be a deal. But we've made lots of progress in lots of areas, but there's still some significant differences that we're working on.
I mean, one of the big differences that she, and I said it last night loud and clear, she wants to bail out poorly run Democrat states. They're poorly run, both in terms of crime and in terms of economics. And we just don't want that. We want COVID-related. But she wants to bail out poorly run Democrat states. And that's a problem because you're talking about tremendous amounts of money. And we don't want to reward areas of our country who have not done a good job. And a lot of those areas have not done a good job on medical and COVID, frankly. If you look at New York and if you look at some others, it's been very rough. But we don't want to do that. Now we're talking and we'll see what happens, but at this moment I would say that I actually think Nancy would rather wait till after the election. She thinks it's a good point for the election, but I think it's against her because the American people know it's her that's stopping the money to going to them. So, you know, I really believe it. I think she views it as a good election point, perhaps. She's, you know, good for November 3rd. I'd like to see the people get the money. I don't think she wants the people to get the money before the election. I don't think that's a good point for her. But we want the people to get the money. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault. It was China's fault. The plague came in from China. Okay? And that's about it.
Also, Nancy Pelosi just released a press release of her transcript of an interview she did. I actually can't find the interview anywhere, but I have the transcript that she released on her actual official website. So let me show you exactly what she's saying today regarding the stimulus check negotiations. As you can see here, this is Nancy Pelosi's official Speaker of the House website. I've skipped to the parts about the stimulus. Craig Melvin is the interviewer, and he says, Madam Speaker, ongoing virus relief talks were also part of the debates there on Thursday night in Nashville. Vice President Biden says the president should have been negotiating with you and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about bills being passed for relief. We just reported that record high number of daily new cases on Thursday. 11 days left until the end of the voting. Are we going to get a new stimulus bill? Speaker Nancy Pelosi says, I would hope so. And the fact that the president has been back and forth, quote, stop the negotiations, quote, oh, I want more money, Nancy, quote, oh, I hope she'll agree with me, but he has to talk to the Senate Republicans. She says, but just let me say, it relates to the debate as well, as you indicated. The fact is that one of the best paths we're on in this negotiation is how we can, say it with me, crush the virus. I swear she says that phrase every day. Nancy Pelosi, not my wife. The administration has avoided that for months and months and months, crushing the virus, even though we had the resources and the language in previous bills. It wasn't a requirement that they wouldn't agree to a requirement to crush the virus. She says, in our legislation, which I hope that the administration is just on the verge of accepting, they must follow the science. They must allocate the resources in a way that, again, follows CDC guidelines and the rest to crush the virus. Because everything else we're talking about will just continue and perhaps worsen unless we crush the virus. So follow the science, mask wearing, testing, tracing, treatment, etc., etc. Get the job done that way. But until now, they have resisted that. The biggest step forward that I'm happy about in the negotiations is I think they're about to embrace the science in a substantial way. Of course, also addresses the fact that more people in the minority community have died from this virus than in the white community. Children, Black children, Hispanic children have 5 to 8 times more chance of going to the hospital than a white child. So we have worked our way through this. Now we have some other differences, but we put pen to paper saying that they're writing the bill. Oh, she says that right here. We're writing the bill and hopefully we'll be able to resolve some of the other differences. We could do that before the election if the president wants to. That's an important sentence there. We could do that before the election if the president wants to. I think he does. I know we do. But we want this to be a bipartisan bill, which means support from both the Democrats and the Republicans, which is at this point the only way they're going to pass a bill unless the president somehow pulls off a presidential executive order. She says the next bill to come to the floor, one that removes all doubt that it will become law. The interviewer says, what makes you think that the White House is ready to come around and make an agreement with you? She says, I think the president wants a bill. I really do. Why would we even be talking to each other? Why would we even? This isn't like we have shared values or anything. This is a negotiation. And I have every reason to believe we've been professional, we've been organized in how we have compared language and the rest, gone back and forth with it. We could be very close. So as I said, we're close enough to put pen to paper. She says, but if the president isn't going to talk to the Senate on this, we're very different than the Senate. Let me just say, I think this could be useful and for people to make judgments about this, but the Democrats and the Republicans, one of the biggest differences, well, two, one is the Democrats believe in science, 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 and we believe in governance, governance, governance. So if science says this is the path to crushing the virus, then you have some governance to say you must do these things. We must allocate the resources to get it done. This applies to the virus, which is such a tragic emergency for us all. She says, I'm just optimistic. You have to be optimistic in a negotiation, and you have to be confident about your point of view and humble enough to accept other views and to come to a conclusion. That could be possible. In fact, the president on any given day, he's one place or another. If on any given day he says, I'm ready to accept the fact that we must make a decision to crush the virus, that is central to the whole discussion. So those are Nancy Pelosi's exact words on her exact website. You tell me, she sounds and says like she's still optimistic and that they're very close. She says they're close enough to an agreement that they've put pen to paper, meaning they're actually writing this bill and actually writing the language, and they've been passing the language back and forth between the Democrats and the Republicans to come to an agreement on the final wording of this bill. So you tell me, those were her exact words. Does it sound like she's close? I think so. I mean, those are her exact words. It says that they're passing the wording and the language back and forth, and that they're close enough that they've actually put pen to paper to actually write this bill on a bill that they want to vote on with what she calls bipartisan support, with both Democrats and Republican support, and that once the president wants to agree to it, that they will have an agreement and have a deal. So honestly, they're both saying the deal is still alive. Nancy Pelosi says they're actually writing the bill. They've put pen to paper. The White House says they're still trying to negotiate to get the final agreement. Nancy Pelosi says that the White House can just take the bill and take the agreement right now if the president wanted to. Now, both the White House and Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats, if you should know by now, both have said they're trying to get a deal done by the end of this weekend. But I have to be honest with you. I think there's a 50-50 chance that they could not get it done until after the election. I mean, at this point, we're only 11 days away. Tomorrow is 10 days away. I think they could come to an agreement, like literally a final agreement, not just an agreement on specific items, like a final agreement where they both say yes. But I don't know if they'll be able to write the whole bill, get the language done, vote on it in the House and the Senate before the election. I mean, it's possible. Bills have been done faster than that in the past, but they need to come to an agreement pretty much by this weekend. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get stimulus. It just means that it might be after the election. Honestly, a lot of people, including the president, have said that Nancy Pelosi probably wants to do this deal right after the election. And honestly, I think that's a very real possibility. Of course, probably only Nancy Pelosi knows. I don't think she'll ever she'll ever tell us what she's actually doing inside her head. So the question is, will she agree to a deal before the election, but will they try to pass it after the election? The only thing we do know is that we are going to find out within the next few days if they're going to pass it before the election or have an agreement before the election. I will keep you guys up to date as soon as new information comes out. Make sure you're subscribed down below and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we go live. We typically have new videos going live at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will also be having some election specials, and on Election Day, I will be giving you all sorts of election updates regarding Nancy Pelosi's re-election, Senate Leader Mitch McConnell's re-election, the president's re-election, whether the House and the Senate are going to be Democratic or Republican. I will be updating you guys on all that because the major news will not be covering Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's re-election for the most part. I mean, you may have a small blip here or there, but I know a lot of you guys are very interested on if Nancy Pelosi is going to get reelected or not, if Mitch McConnell is going to get reelected or not, and if the House or the Senate is going to be Republican or Democrat or both, because that will play a big part in stimulus check negotiations afterwards. Because if this pandemic continues into 2021, which we're now seeing, we literally had the second highest number of cases of new virus cases in one day just yesterday. This probably isn't going to go away. And if 2021 comes around, we're going to have more stimulus packages and more stimulus checks and unemployment going forward, even if they do pass this one here within the next week. So I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. You guys can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.